Hey guys, so I know I've been promising you a Q&A. We're gonna get that done today. I'm gonna start off on kind of like the easier questions, lighter ones, and then we can get into a little more informational stuff or, maybe stuff about next year. Um, so question number one, four cities I think need to come into the CDL. Not need to, but would like to see. I would like a Vegas team, maybe Phoenix. I feel like Boston would be a cool place. There's talks of Madrid before. That would also be a good one. Maybe even like a Bay Area, like San Fran team would also be a really good one. Question number two. What year did I think I had the best chance of winning champs? The obvious answer would be in World War II because, we were really confident going to that event. But actually, in Infinite Warfare, when it was me, Clay, Alec, and Preston, we went into that event thinking we were going to win the event. Like we were extremely confident. Our team was good. We choked playoffs and ended up getting top three instead of winning that. So we're like, all right, don't worry, we got the next one. Had a little boot camp. But yeah, we definitely, I feel like we were the only team that entire year that could really stop Optic. So I feel like we had a great chance. What is the most stressful thing about being a professional Call of Duty player? Um, I mean, honestly, the most stressful thing about being a COD player is literally just like having no job security. Like obviously with streaming and people doing YouTube and prize money and salary, like most of us make pretty good money. But the thing is, you could go from making, however much you make to $0 the next day. There's not a ton of job security. Obviously, you're seeing a lot of like big time players getting phased out a little bit, and there was no expansion this year. So it's definitely just, if you have a bad year, it could cost you your job permanently. What do I enjoy most about competing? My favorite part of competing is obviously, just going in a tournament setting, going to a LAN and playing against people that I've been practicing against all year online. It's always really exciting. I mean, nothing really beats that feeling, especially if you like win on LAN. I feel like it's like a one of a kind kind of thing. What pro or player do I have the most difficult time against? I'm just gonna make this recent. Playing against Shotzi this year and his movement and stuff while you're shooting at him is literally just like a pain. It's so unpleasant to just see him slide around corners and try and kill him. Definitely a super super hard time with him. Looking back, what advice would I give myself now in pursuing COD? I messed up. I messed up a lot of things in my career that I could have done differently. I prioritized friendships and some relationships that really shouldn't have had that much of an impact in my life. I've quit playing. I've quit playing before for relationships in the past. I've wanted to go out and go to bars or go hang out with my friends and stuff instead of playing when I was younger. If you're trying to do something like this, be a professional like esports player in general, you need to put your 100% in it because if you're not going to, there's someone else that will. So you really can't slack off whatsoever. I got lucky that I slacked off how I did and ended up gathering my work ethic and kind of just realizing I needed to do a better job for myself. What is my dream city to play for? Dream City, obviously they're not in the CDL yet, but if there was a Vegas team, I'm pretty sure I'm the only pro player in Nevada, born and raised in Las Vegas. So, I feel like I would be the perfect candidate. But if not, I'd like to be somewhere on the West Coast. Like I lived in Seattle for a while. I have a lot of family in California. I have a lot of family in LA. So, pretty much any of those would be great for me personally. Has there ever been a point in your career where you felt like, quitting or retiring? Absolutely. The only time I've ever actually considered retiring or quitting was at the end of Black Ops 3. I kind of got finessed out of not going to champs after we qualified. And, we had waited pretty much the entire year just to get to champs. That was going to be my first champs. Story for another time, but there's there's a few different reasons I haven't been at like a bunch of the earlier champs, even though I was old enough. But it was a pretty bad spree of things, and the fact that I didn't make champs again made me want to quit completely. Although I'm glad I didn't. What's the first time you got paid playing COD? The first time I got paid playing COD, I believe it was in a pro circuit ladder in 2009. We got second place. Think we got like $300 or $400, and I used my money to buy my first pair of Astro A40s. So yeah, really really long time ago. That was more than 11 years ago. Wow, yeah, it's been a long time. I'm old. Where do I see myself in the next 4 to 5 years? Next 4 to 5 years. Hopefully I'm still gaming to some extent. Clay's about 4 years older than me, 3, 4 years older than me. He's still doing it. He's still doing it at the top. So I feel like I definitely want to try and do the same thing. I'm all in for Call of Duty. I'm not really focused on anything else right now. I want to win again. I want to win more. I want to, build my brand. I want to stream. I have pretty much no other plan at the moment that I want to focus on other than COD. With all the roster movement in COD, what's it like knowing there's a chance you'll be moving every season? Does it get tougher as you get older? Absolutely. It's something that's been talked about a lot, obviously, and with the current circumstances, COVID and everything going on in the U.S., um, obviously some people probably won't have to move for this year. But when you're in your mid 20s or even early 20s for some people, you've got like a wife or you've got some people have kids. Um, moving when you have a home base, like when you own a house somewhere else, and especially like I know it's different for a lot of players, but like Asia can't move with me wherever I go. She has her own job and her own full-time job, and takes care of the house and the animals. So it's definitely hard for us doing long distance for so long. That's why I try to come back as much as I can, but it's definitely a pain moving back and forth. I actually just got movers for the first time in my life for all my stuff in Minnesota, and they're a lot more expensive than I anticipated. So that's definitely unpleasant. I would ideally like to stay on the same team for more than a year if possible, solely for the fact that I don't want to move my stuff. Would I ever get a haircut from Burns Barber? If God is good, I'm hoping that Burns Barber that cut his hair is in prison now or something because that was an abomination. So absolutely not. Absolutely not. Never. Never, ever, ever. Explain your tattoos and the meaning behind them. So I basically, I have a bunch of blackwork tattoos. A lot of people are obviously confused by this. Not a lot of people know. It's kind of like a private thing for me, but I was actually raised by a pack of zebras. And this tattoo right here is dedicated to my mom and dad. I don't talk about it a lot publicly, but that's why I have this one. And here's me, the little wolf with my family of zebras. What's my favorite or best moment from that MW season? Obviously the season wasn't really fun for me. It would definitely have to be, almost winning the grand final against Dallas or being the only team to beat FaZe. Those are the two best. Obviously, we don't have a huge sample size of like actual LAN tournaments, so just have to give it to one of those. Are you still on Rocker or are you going to another team? I'm not on Rocker anymore as for another team. Nothing has been announced yet. Nothing I can really say publicly, but hoping to land somewhere that I really want to be next year. What are you going to miss most about the Rocker organization? Honestly, I'm gonna miss all those people. Brett, Ashley, Dylan, Brian, Jake. I feel like I made a lot of good friends this year, and I really enjoyed being there with all those people, especially when everybody was in the office before COVID hit hard. Gonna miss all of them. Gonna miss the organization. Rocker and E United are definitely like the two really, really, really good organizations I've been on. All the people that work for them are great, and there's really, nothing not to miss. I get this question a lot, whether it's in my chat or people just like DMing me or something. But how do you get noticed to get on a good team? There's obviously a lot of room for players to kind of move up a little bit, getting on better AM teams. You saw a lot of amateur players getting on pro teams this year. I feel like it's, a lot of like older veteran players are at the point where they're looking for younger talent. They're actively scouting for it. Play in as many tournaments as you can, play as much as you can. Try and stream everything you play. Whenever the Challengers Cups and the Weekend Cups and 1Ks come back, playing all those. And obviously just try and find the best teammates you possibly can right now. Give yourself the best chance of shining. What do you think Rocker's downfall was this year? It's obviously hard with 5 people and an online switch to pinpoint the exact issues of what went on. We just had some issues. We had some internal issues for a little bit there. Obviously, people not being able to travel around, see family is an issue. We just happened to not be as good online for whatever reason. I don't know why that is, but we definitely got hit hard with it, worse than anybody else, if I had to guess. But definitely made it a lot less fun when we weren't traveling to events together. I feel like it killed a little bit of our momentum, but obviously no excuse. This is all we have now, and we're all grateful to even be able to work. So, yep, just how it crumbles. When it comes to fitness products, what are some of your faves? Pre-workout, protein, etc. Obviously, I'm sure you've heard my go-to right now in terms of like protein meal replacement. I really enjoy the Control. I've never been a huge supplement guy. I take a couple vitamins. I take probiotics. Um, pre-workout occasionally. My go-to pre-workout is usually the Ghost Mango Margarita one. That's probably my favorite. And then if we're talking like just energy drinks in general, I usually drink these 3Ds, Christian Guzman's brand. Feel like every one of their flavors is super, super good, and they're like 0 cal. That's good if you're counting your macros and things like that. But in terms of like other stuff, like fat burners or any of that other like nonsense, I don't really use any of it. I try to stay as much whole food as possible, and if not, then some Control or maybe some veggie protein of some sort. Do you miss the old style of COD events without the league? Or do you feel like the league does a good job in keeping these style events going that COD is known for? I feel like COD always does a good job with their events for the most part. Obviously, this year with the online switch, they've done as best they possibly can. Because it makes production and online and everything else just makes things way way harder on their end. I feel like they definitely did a good job for what they had. I definitely think though, since we're probably not, it's not looking like we're gonna have our normal events this year either, in my opinion. I feel like when events come back, they're going to go all out because it's been so long without them. I feel like all these teams, like half the teams, more than half the teams haven't even had a homestead, like a real homestead event. I feel like when events come back, they're going to be the best they've ever been. I'm really, really excited for that. Thoughts on the 3 map we have in the alpha for possible 4v4? Satellite, great pub map. Don't think it would be played competitively. Moscow, pretty decent map. I think there's a chance that could be a competitive map in some essence. Miami, I'm not a Miami fan at all. Obviously, there's always that like one bad map in like an alpha or beta. I think Miami's that map. Really can't be too many buildings. It's also kind of dark in a lot of parts of it. Not a fan of Miami, but the other two they get a good grade from me. Since you love Minnesota beer so much, would you be open to a beer trade? That sounds like a cool idea. I actually just went to Minnesota to move out my stuff this week, and I went to all my favorite breweries and stocked up on all my favorite stuff. So I'm not there anymore, but I'm always open for beer trades. I'm in Nevada though. We don't really have much good beer to offer, in my opinion. So you probably wouldn't be too happy with the result. And I also get this question a lot, so I figure I should answer this in case nobody's heard me say it before. What would you do if you weren't competing in COD? I was in school up until the point of World War II champs. I was planning on going into nursing. Obviously, like the longer you're out of school, um, the more you kind of like go back and forth about things. I'm actually not too sure at this point. I'm kind of just going through the motions playing COD, trying to continue doing this. I could always go back and try and be an RN if I want to. I could go into tech or video game development if I wanted to. Try and stick around and do something in esports, but I don't know. It always changes for me. I'm very undecisive with that, and obviously, if you're spending thousands upon thousands of dollars on a degree, you kind of have to be sure of what you want to do. Um, at this point, it's just wherever the wind takes me. I feel like I'm at a pretty good point in my life. I'm really comfortable. Um, so kind of just waiting to see where the wind takes me.